Hola, Manuel Barrera, Meme, Manny. Uh, Many name, one person. We live long enough, that usually happens. But anyhow, I've tried to avoid talking about HISD and education, but it's getting hard. Getting hard because that guy that they put in charge of HISD, I do not believe he knows what he's doing. He may be a good BSer, but he knows that he's not going to get fired. Not unless he starts having an affair with a student or something. And even then, I'm not sure. But let me tell you how important education is. To my mother, education was very important. I have 7 siblings. There's 8 of us. I am the oldest. I am the first one from my mother's side of the family to graduate from high school. I am the first one to also graduate from college. And I actually have a law degree from the University of Houston and have been a licensed attorney since 1983. But education was very, very important to her. In fact, I believe I'm the only one that from when I was extremely small, she would say, Meme, you have to go to college. Porque si tú no vas, los otros te van a apuntar a ti y van a decir, Meme no fue. The other ones are going to point to you and they're going to say, Meme didn't go to college, so why should we? So I went to college. I graduated. My sister, she went, she became a nurse. My brother there, and I'm going by the order of age. My brother there, he went, he retired as a lieutenant from HPD. My brother there, he went and he retired from major offenders in HPD. My sister there, Anna, she went and she became a school teacher. He went, he got a vocational degree, and he actually went to Princeton and got I'm not sure if it's a master's from Oxford. And then our youngest sister, way over there, she also went. Uh, she helps her husband with accounting. They own a construction company. So what's happened in HISD is disappointing. It may not have been the best school district in the world, but it was not a bad school district. I taught in HISD for 20 years. Started teaching in 1970, September of 1973, and I left it about 20 years later, and I went to work for the city. I worked about 5 years as a senior, as the chief of staff for a council member, and then I uh, became an administrative judge and retired. I forgot, uh, maybe 10 years ago, something like that. But today I get emails from some of the people that are still involved in HISD, and I've got one where it says that Miles is passing out material that is copyrighted and maybe claiming that it's his own. Or, you can't use copyright material. Asia has already been sued once for that. But this is the administration that's doing this. So, and the other thing is, it bothers me because by taking over the school district, they're taking over, well, my children are too old now, but they're taking over our children. Uh, and that's what they do. That's how they indoctrinate them. The Native Americans, up until the 1950s, they would take the children away from them and put them in schools where they could not learn about their native culture, where they had to forget their native language. And maybe because it's only today, because otherwise they would be doing the same to us. The people up in Austin don't like us. They don't like us because we don't vote the way they want us to vote. They want us to vote for Republicans. And some of us do, about 30% of us do. But that's not enough for them. They want us all to vote Republican. But let me tell you, and I used to be a Republican precinct chair years ago, but the Republican Party was different. When Trump became their nominee, that's when I washed my hands of the Republican Party and I said, never again will I vote for anybody that's got an R in front of their name. And as long as I'm alive, I will not vote for anybody that's got an R in front of their name. Because let me tell you, they're all the same. They may claim they're not, but they're all the same. Almost all of them would have overthrown the democracy to keep Trump as president. Almost all the Republicans, with exception of a handful, voted to do that. They just installed the Speaker of the House that, in fact, pushed election denial and would have probably put Trump back in if he could. And he may still, if he stays as Speaker of the House, they may steal the election because Trump is going to be the nominee. And there is no way that Trump can win. The only way he can win is if they steal the election. So, there's probably nothing we can do about HISD. Those people that are out there protesting, keep doing so. Those teachers that can find a job somewhere else, do so. If you let me tell you, not being a teacher, unless it's just a calling for you, like being a priest or a nun, although it's kind of hard for me to understand, but unless it's something like that, chances are you can find a job somewhere that pays just as well, where you don't have all the headaches, because that teaching is not an 8 to 5 job. Now, I actually, for me, it was, but I was in industrial arts. Uh, I, I have no idea what they call it now, but it's a vocational education. So I didn't normally have papers to grade. I taught people how to use things. Drafting was one of the classes that I taught in woodshop. But English teachers, math teachers, when they go home, they got to take papers with them to grade. They don't pay them enough for all of that. And they certainly don't pay them enough to be mistreated and treated like children. So those of you that are out there fighting the fight, you keep fighting. Maybe you'll wear them down because it's a long-term process of wearing people down. Bureaucracies, they want you to stop. That's when they do the best. Ciao. That means adios. Right there, watch.